Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Combermary people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Bryce Corbett. It's Thursday, September 7. In Squiz Kids Today, Platypus, sniffer dogs and cocky hunters. Shark scare in New Zealand. TikTok's fake Karen videos and Barbie fans gone wild. That's what's making news, kids style.
The lowdown.
Today is Threatened Species Day across the country, where we're all encouraged to stop and think about the number of native species across our wide brown land that are under threat. A threatened species is any plant or animal species that is at risk of extinction. And unfortunately, the Australian government estimates there are at least 1,700 species that are threatened or at risk of extinction in Australia. It's an important reminder of how important it is to look after the environment, and that we all have a role to play, but that also it's not all doom and gloom. Earlier this week, there was the great news that new nests for the glossy black cockatoo had been found on the New South Wales mid-north coast for the first time in 20 years. Now, that's great news because the big bushfires we had a couple of years ago wiped out more than 45% of the glossy black cockatoo habitat in that region. I've stuck a link to photos of the glossy black cocky in today's episode notes. And yesterday, conservationists in Victoria gathered at the Healesville Sanctuary in Melbourne to see a brand new platypus sniffer dog in action. The dogs have been trained to sniff out platypus nests, then sit quietly in front of them without disturbing the platypus curled up inside so that conservationists can do a proper count of their numbers and keep track on whether extra steps need to be taken to protect them. Platypus sniffer dogs, what will they think of next? Oh, and if you want to play at being citizen scientist this weekend and help conservationists count how many glossy black cockatoos are in the wild, this weekend is the Great Glossy Count, where kids and adults across southeastern Queensland, eastern New South Wales, the ACT and eastern Victoria are encouraged to get involved. I've stuck a link to it in today's episode notes.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed just across the ditch in New Zealand, where a fisherman on his kayak had a close encounter with a shark chasing a seal. The fisher bloke was out on his sea kayak, filming videos for his popular YouTube channel when suddenly a seal pup flew up out of the water with a young shark in hot pursuit. He watched, amazed, for a full minute as the shark chased the seal, both of them performing impressive aerial acrobatics above the water's surface, until the seal decided it would try to shelter on the kayak and the shark rammed him from below, almost knocking the kayaker out of his boat. Yikes! And while there's no word on whether the seal got away, here's hoping, there is a super cool video that the kayaker captured, and of course, I've stuck a link to it in today's episode notes. You're welcome.
Pop Culture Corner.
So, you think you like Barbie? You reckon, now that you've seen the movie on the big screen, that you're a Barbie superfan? Well, you have nothing on Russian woman Tatiana Tuzova, who has, wait for it, more than 12,000 Barbie dolls in her collection at her home. That, my friends, is a whole lot of pink. She has dresses made of Barbie dolls, jewellery made of Barbie dolls, and wall-to-ceiling displays of Barbie dolls in their boxes all over her house. That, my friends, is also what we either call a passion or an obsession. Take your pick. I've stuck a link to photos of Tatiana and her collection in today's episode notes, just as I have stuck a link to a house in England which is riding the pink wave. This house is painted hot pink, all of its rooms are painted pink, and it's full of pink furniture, and frankly, my head hurts just thinking about it. But hey, each to their own. And on the subject of Barbie, make sure you tune in next Tuesday when Christy and I punch out a super cool Squiz Kids shortcut on Barbie. Everything you ever wanted to know about the world's most popular doll. Oh, and her friend Ken, of course. Poor Ken. He's just Ken. Anywhere else, he'd be a 10.
Newshounds.
Every Wednesday, Squizzy the Newshound pops his head into Squiz Kids HQ to report back on fishy things he's sniffed out on the internet. And today, his nose is twitching over a bunch of fake Karen videos that have surfaced on TikTok. The videos show women apparently complaining in shops and bars and restaurants about the poor service they have received. Except the videos are fake. Now, they're not the deep fake videos that we've talked about in previous podcasts. Those are videos of real people that have been manipulated and edited to make it seem like those people have said things or done things that they never actually did or said. These Karen videos are just videos of pretend situations that are not real. Another example of disinformation, which, as Squizzy tells us in Newshounds, our free media literacy course for primary school kids, is incorrect information that's been posted online on purpose to make us react in a certain way. It's why we should always do as Squizzy suggests, and that's to stop, think, and check before believing everything we see, read, or hear on the internet. And teachers, if you want your class to be among the 1,700 classrooms around the country who have signed up to trial Newshounds, our free media literacy podcast and classroom activities, head to our website squizkids.com.au and sign up today.
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. In which country was a kayaker rammed by a shark? Yeah, that's right, it was New Zealand. Question number 2. What's the name of the cockatoo on the New South Wales mid-north coast whose nests have been found? Yeah, that's right, it's the glossy black cockatoo. Question number 3. In which country does Barbie superfan Tatiana Tuzova live? Yeah, that's right, she lives in Russia.
Shout-outs.
It's September 7. The first one-day international cricket match kicks off tonight in Bloemfontein in South Africa between Australia and South Africa. Come on, Aussies. It's also a special day for these Squiz Kids celebrating a birthday today. Nathan from Vermont South, Jassim from Junee, Lenovo from Light Pass, Henry from the Central Coast, Harry from Forest Lake, Tama from Galston, Ava from Kulungalok, Tennyson from Adelaide, Jasper from Encounter Bay, Mila from Rosanna, Oliver from Kingston, Tara from Sutherland, Sienna, Cassie and Wendy from Pakenham, and Zoe, who's listening all the way over there in Lille in France, and Rohan, who's listening all the way over there in Kerala in India. And belated birthday shout-outs today go to twins Kalea and Evie from Freshwater, Alu and Malachi from Brisbane, Harley from Melbourne, and Maddie, who's listening all the way over there in Alabama, United States of America. Sweet home Alabama. And classroom shout-outs today go to Year 4 with Mrs. Crumb at St Mary's Catholic Primary School in Orange. Year 3 with Mrs. Snickens at St Elizabeth's Catholic Primary School in Tarragindi. Classes 1RH and 4CA at Kew Primary School. Class 6-5Y and Miss Yee at Murray Farm Public School in Carlingford. Class 3-4K and Ms Gallagher at Emu Plains Public School. And Class 6 Gold with Mr Wheeler at Marist College in Ashgrove. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout-out, or if you're after a classroom shout-out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow with our Kids versus Adult Weekly News Quiz. Your chance to test who's been paying the most attention to the week that just was. Plus, of course, all of our Friday and weekend birthday shout-outs. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.